Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in and welcome back to another Carnivore Q&A. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and today I'm going to be going over everything I've ate since winning my IDFA Pro Bodybuilding debut 2 weeks ago and how it's impacted my weight and my health. At the time of filming this video, it is Saturday, December the 30th, and I made my IDFA Pro Bodybuilding debut and won on Saturday, December the 16th, so it's been exactly 2 weeks. And in terms of what I've eaten since winning my debut, basically right after the competition had ended, I had already done my carb load and it was a really, really long day, so I thought, screw it, might as well have a few more carbs. So on my way to the steakhouse, I just had a few M&Ms. Then after the M&Ms, I ended up having a beautiful 20-ounce ribeye cooked to medium rare. It was absolutely delicious. And then there were some vegetables on the plate. I did indulge in some of the vegetables. I basically had some mushrooms, some asparagus, and some broccoli. Stayed away from the peppers and some of the other vegetables that would have caused me a lot of bloating and upset stomach. And then when I got home, it was my brother's birthday, or at least we were celebrating it. So there was a lot of stuff. For the most part, I managed to avoid eating a lot of stuff, but around midnight, that is when I caved and I ended up having a few sweets. And then I had told myself that I was going to allow myself to enjoy the weekend. So over the course of Monday and Tuesday, I did consume a lot more sweets. And I want to say over the course of the last 2 weeks, I've probably consumed a bare minimum of 2,000 grams of carbs. In terms of how it affected my weight and my health, after I ended up doing those 2 to 3 days of really, really high carb, I did notice the same things from the last competition where overall I still felt pretty good. The only thing was I did have a lot of itching with my skin. And about 2, 3 days after the competition, I was still pretty lean, but I was so bloated and my skin, you couldn't really tell any definition. But that pretty much went away. On the morning of Wednesday, after the competition, I ended up weighing in at 170.8 pounds. I competed at 155.8 pounds. So I had gained 15 pounds between the Saturday and the Wednesday. But I had estimated that at least 10 pounds of that was going to be water and undigested food in my stomach because I did have a lot of food over the course of that weekend. And sure enough, on Thursday, my weight had dropped. I had gone down to 166.8. And then on Thursday, I went down to 164.8. So my weight pretty much rebounded back to normal. And then over the course of the Christmas holidays, I originally was going to avoid sweets altogether and stick to my diet, but I figured since I had already done the carb load 1 week earlier and since I worked really, really hard, I was just going to enjoy myself. So I did consume quite a bit of carbs over the Christmas weekend. I was having some Toblerones, some chocolate-covered almonds, and a few other little sweets here and there. And my weight had gone up all the way to 171 pounds. But once again, I suspected that a lot of that was going to be water and undigested food. And sure enough, my weight right now is 165.2 pounds, so a little bit heavier than normal. And I suspect that my weight is going to stabilize somewhere between 158 and 163 pounds, especially now that the holidays are over. I'm not a big New Year's person. I'm just going to be staying in. I'm not going to be pigging out. So I expect that within the next couple days, maybe even tomorrow, I'm going to be at around that 163 mark, and then my weight is going to pretty much stay in that range. And over the course of my health, aside from the itching sensation that I did notice, a couple days after the competition, I did notice that it felt like I had a prolapsed rectum. Every single time I went to the washroom, it wasn't exactly pleasant. That only lasted a couple days, though. Once I went back to my regular diet, everything went back to normal. But overall, as you can see from the shape that I'm in right now, my body fat, I'm still in the single digits. My weight, it's still pretty good. I didn't rebound too much. I'm only 10 pounds heavier, actually a little bit less than 10 pounds heavier than when I competed a couple weeks ago. And I expect that my weight is going to drop a little bit more. Once again, 158 to 163 is where I anticipate my weight to be, because that's where it's been for the majority of the last 15, 16 years. So I don't expect it to change too drastically from that. And overall, I'm going to be taking a few weeks away from bodybuilding. Over the course of the next 3 months, I'm going to start going back toward powerlifting and strongman training, because that is really what I love to do. So for the next 3 months, that's going to be my training style. My diet, I'm going to go back to eating mostly meat only. I'm going to incorporate a little bit of eggs and cheese here and there. But for the most part, I'm going to be sticking to beef. And that's pretty much everything I did over the course of the last 2 weeks between the competition and now. And that's what I'm going to be doing moving forward. And then the next couple of weeks, on the next Sunday video for the Carnivore Q&A, I'm going to be going over my morning supplement routine, and then the following week, I'm going to be going over my nighttime supplement routine. So if you are interested, check that out. And then with regard to the diet moving forward, I'm going to be switching back from 5 meals a day going back to either OMAD or 2 meals a day. If I do the OMAD, I'm going to be doing it at night. If I do the 2 meals a day, I'm going to separate them roughly by about 10 to 12 hours. I'll have my first meal first thing in the morning, and then I'll have my second meal at night. But that's everything I've eaten. That's how it's affected my health. And stay tuned next week to see what exactly my supplements are that I'm going to be taking moving forward.